right, everyone do it with me. Inhale deeply and then exhale. Thank goodness. Oh my God, that would have been horrible if that had not gone that way. But instead, it's an overtime winner. Fucking A, I love overtime winners in playoffs. God, they are the best. Playoff hockey is incredible. Unfortunately, we should have never been in that place in the first place. We'll talk about all that. Yes, beautiful. Live from the beautiful Marlborough Hotel in downtown. Yeah, my heart rate I couldn't breathe most of it. I'm still trying to catch my breath now. Downtown Winnipeg, right across from Canada Life Center. Figured it would be easier to come back here. Then I got locked out of my hotel room because apparently the key can't go too close to my phone. However, we're in the room now. Thanks again to Vegas Night and Day Heating and Air Conditioning for sending me here, heating and cooling, sending me on the road. But we will talk about that more as well. And Conler. But first, let's talk about the game. See, I'm pumped. Everyone calls me negative. Everyone says I want them to lose. Get out of here. That game was awesome because playoff hockey is amazing when it goes to overtime. I fucking love it. It's the best. Okay, so there's a lot of things I want to get to. There's a lot of kind of chapters maybe of this game, like so many different things to kind of look towards. And then, of course, there's the ongoing chapter I got to turn this off. This looks terrible. All right, there we go. I had the TV on. I thought it was going to make me look better. It does not. Not that I look all that good in this hotel room. Nonetheless, here we are. Okay, so let's start with the beginning of the game. So the beginning of the game, the Golden Knights are in a position where they come out, they look real good. It definitely looked like a lot of what we had seen in the better parts of game 2. Like those were the moments where it's like, all right, that is what we want to see. That is the style of play we want, where they are getting it in deep when they need to, carrying it in when they have opportunity, breaking out of their own zone very well. Like a lot's going well. A lot was going well at the beginning of that game. You get the goal. I think both of the goals are in many ways a little bit fortunate. I don't know that that's exactly how you want to be generating opportunities on the power play, which is just a fan shot or a broken stick or whatever it was, and then it funnels over. But then 2 is the other one it's a great pass in the neutral zone from Stone, but then Stevenson kind of just rips one, and it beats Hellebuck, who I thought wasn't all that good today. Typically, he's going to be better than that. He was not very good. I thought the Golden Knights absolutely had the better goalie in this game. So that's awesome to see that come true. Nonetheless, it's like you look at how the Golden Knights started that game, and that's what we wanted to see. And then what was great was that after it got to 2-0, they were continuously playing that way. It kept going that way for a good majority of the rest of the first. Obviously, they get the one opportunity. They tip it high corner. That's a great play. That's just it's a little bit of a lost race from Nick Waugh, but as a whole, that's not one that I'm going to lose my mind over. Not a huge breakdown, kind of a nothing play. And they end up getting it back out to the point. Good job by Connor to get into the high slot. Like they're going to score some goals. They're a good team. Like you're playing a playoff team now, so you're going to have to deal with some of it. But I felt like as the game continued to progress, the breakouts continued to be good. They continued to kind of be willing to put the puck in deep, get underneath the goal line, challenge constantly and pressure in the offensive zone. And we were seeing a lot of different lines that really everybody seemed to be going. Eichel's having a good game, which is definitely beneficial. I thought everyone was kind of on the same page, doing the right things. And as that went on, we end up getting to the second period. And that's where, to me, like the beginning of the second period is where I look at this series maybe a little bit different than Cassidy does now. Obviously, Morrissey out for the rest of the series. I think the Golden Knights are in a really good spot. I would have much preferred we kind of just went through and that game goes by the wayside and not have the comeback. I think all of us would have probably enjoyed that a lot more than what we ended up with. Cassidy thinks that it's possible that it ends up being a better situation for the Golden Knights. Not sure I'll agree, but we'll touch on that as we move forward. But the second period, like all of a sudden, the exits started to slow up a little bit, and Winnipeg started to generate some opportunities. They hit a post. They had a couple of opportunities that they definitely had better chances to score there. One real unbelievable chance, low slot. I want to say it was Dubois that Bressois got a glove on. So, like, there were some big-time opportunities. And then from that, Vegas, good exit, good draw, or good drive to the goal with the puck from Marchessault, or maybe not to the goal, but at least he gets the puck, he gets it into the offensive zone, and instead of trying to either turn back up or kind of make the simple play and throw it in and change and start over there, instead he says, no, I'm going to take this player on, and I think it was Sandberg, actually, now that I think about it, kind of goes at him, forces him to make the play. He ends up getting tripped. They get the second power play goal. That one's a little bit better in regards to how the movement goes. I agree that they didn't pass the puck through the inside of the diamond that the Jets play all that much, which I would like to see them find ways to do that. Eichel's shooting ends up being really good on today's power plays. The first one, he better shoot that one. Kind of again, fluky play that they end up getting it. The second one, he gets it over there. They get it to him quickly enough. And then the screen on the pass, which there's just traffic in front, and they end up screening the pass, and puck goes underneath the goalie. You end up getting the third goal. Fourth one, I really loved. Like, that's an excellent breakout. Excellent job getting into the offensive zone with possession. Great net drive from Kolizar. Puck on net, rebound sits up, pop it right back in. Like, that's what you're looking for, especially when the Golden Knights have a lead. And I felt like going all the way into that third period, it looked like it was going to be a pretty simple way to the finish line there. And I really did think this game's over. I did not have any concern going into the third. Obviously, they come right out. It's, again, very much of a nothing play. And I feel like that's one where maybe we do want Brossoit to make that save. But they get that goal, and now it's like, all right, well, we just have to find a way to shut this thing back down. And I thought the Golden Knights did a great job of that. Like, I thought it was consistent getting out of the zone. I thought they were doing pretty good job in the neutral zone. I thought that it was keeping the Jets to the outside. I completely agree with Cassidy in saying, like, they got 3 goals, and in many ways, it didn't really feel all that dangerous. It didn't really feel like they were in trouble. I was not that concerned about what was going on there. The power play, that becomes a problem. I thought the call was terrible. I still don't understand what the call is at all on Kessel. Like, he's not grabbing his stick at all. If anything, the other guy's chicken winging it, and it should go the other way. Like, I didn't understand that call, like, in the least. So that ends up being just a great shot from Scheifele, and Golden Knights are actually not in terrible position to block that. It's just White Cloud doesn't block the shot. I don't really put that one on Brossoit at all. The last one, empty net situation, lose a couple races. I guess that's a little bit concerning. And the empty net stuff, it's been an issue. It's definitely been an issue. So we'll have to keep an eye on that going forward. But they have 2 in front. They get a puck, stick on it, jumps out into the crease, and they shovel it in. Like, end up with overtime. I think maybe the biggest part of the game to me, I'm going to write an article about it either tonight or into tomorrow. I don't know when that's actually going to happen, but that 18 seconds. So they score the third goal. The game is tied. We're probably going to overtime. I think everyone's pretty sure that that's going to happen. There's 18 seconds that are left on the clock. The Golden Knights instantly win the draw, jam it down into the offensive zone, and get to work in that 18 seconds. They were not happy to just take the thing to overtime. No, they got it. They went down. They tried to make a play, and they end up getting a tripping call. I'm not sure it was actually a trip. Possibly that was a toe pick there from Stone. I thought he tripped, but upon second and third look, maybe it's a toe pick, maybe it's stepping on a stick, something like that. Not sure. Nonetheless, I thought that penalty really settled the Golden Knights in. It really took a lot of the sting off of, okay, well, we gave up 3. In many ways, we blew this game, and now we're giving them life, in a team that probably should not have earned it to this point, should not have let them back into this game in a pivotal game 3 in this series on the road. We've done that. However, we know we've got full 2 minutes of power play here going into this overtime. So we should feel pretty good about the opportunity that we're about to have presented to us. And that's how I thought they came into the overtime, was like, all right, well, we're going to run through this power play. I don't think they sat in that locker room saying we must score on this power play or we're going to crumble. It was a confident group in that, look, we got ourselves out to 4-1. We've got ourselves a power play here. And if we don't, we're going right back to 5-on-5, and we're going to go back to doing the things that we've done well for basically 4 of the last 5 periods here in this series. And we're no longer going to play protect the lead style, which is the part that maybe they want to dive into. What did go wrong? I still will stand, at least at this moment, having watched the game just live. We'll have to do another rewatch here. Having just watched it live, I actually feel pretty comfortable with what happened in that third period. I'm not that upset about how it got there. Obviously, I think we would be a lot more upset in the event that the fifth goal had gone the other way. Maybe we're talking about something a little bit different. I doubt it, though. I didn't feel that bad in that getting it to overtime. I want to take this question about Bressois, but first I want to tell you that Conler and Associates CPAs present all of our Periscopes during the postseason and all of our Twitter spaces and all of the live shows that I do after games. They are fantastic over there at Conler and Associates CPAs. Go to conlercpa.com, KONDLER and tell them SinBin sent you. They'll hook you up with a free consultation to help you with all your tax needs. Tax day has passed, but that does not mean you no longer need Conler CPAs. They can help you for next year. They can still help you from this year if you missed it or whatever. You need to file some sort of a change, an amendment, I think is the word they use. You can do that. Go to conlercpa.com and tell them that SinBin sent you. We'll get to the other advertiser for me being on the road. The reason I'm in the Marlborough Hotel, but I'll get to that in a second. Any concerns that Bressois gave up 2 goals in the same location from the perimeter on opposite sides of the ice? To me, no. I don't particularly love the one that Niederreiter scores, but I think that's just a whiff. And I don't know how often we're going to get just flat out whiffs. I thought he saw it. I thought he tried to glove it, and he just flat out missed. So it's disappointing in that sense. And I guess if we see more of that, maybe we will end up coming back. You can look at the 3 games now. I've had one in the game 1 and then one here today that I didn't particularly like. The other one, I thought the Scheifele shot is through traffic, through a guy that's trying to block it. It's a perfectly placed shot. I don't really have that much concern over that. Then let's move on to the game, getting it into overtime. Watching it live, I actually felt like the Jets had the more dangerous chances. And I do feel like it's possible that for me, the being in the building may have actually impacted that. It's something that I do notice, especially at home as well, is that you feel the rise in the crowd when there's opportunities coming your way. And I was on the side where the goal was eventually scored in overtime from Amadio, where that's where Winnipeg was shooting. So I felt like there were definitely chances going that way. But then I looked at some of the advanced numbers and where the shots were coming from, and Vegas definitely had plenty of opportunities in that first overtime. So when you look at period 1, most of period 2, there was a little bit of a stretch in there where I thought that Winnipeg was getting back in there. And then the overtime, and I guess it's all 24 minutes of overtime that we ended up seeing, Golden Knights were good. They've been pretty good at 5-on-5, at least for the last 2 games now. So that certainly has to give you a feel of like things are going the right way. Things are continuing to work. The plans that we wanted to see happen are continuing to work. The idea of getting the puck in deep, the idea of kind of leaning on their smaller defenseman a little bit, which that may change if they opt to go to Logan Stanley. He's a bigger guy instead. If they opt to go to Capobianco, who's a little bit more of an offensive guy, then all of a sudden I think you see some of the same. We're going to probably have to see DeMello do a little bit more offensively. Schmidt's going to have to do more offensively. I'll talk about that and kind of the impact that I think that's a huge impact, massively larger than Ehlers coming back. I think they even lose a huge amount if you trade off Ehlers for Morrissey. But the part that Bruce said that I'm not sure I'm with is that he said, I think in the end, now that we've won this game, maybe it's going to feel like that game's actually going to do us even more favors in that they had more ice time on a lot of their players, specifically their blue liners, because they were down a blue liner the entire time. They don't roll through their lines quite as much as Vegas does. At least the top 6 certainly plays more than the bottom 6, where it's kind of for Vegas the top 9 as opposed to that 4th line. And really, when you look at how they rolled out the minutes, I tweeted it, Vegas used every single skater at least 4 minutes in that first overtime. That is not something that we have seen historically in the past. That's not what we saw from DeBoer. That's not what we saw from Gallant. that when they got to overtime, they would typically kind of lean on certain guys. And the other part is like, this is big in winning an overtime game. They've lost a bunch of overtime games here. They've been eliminated each of the last 3 times they've been in the playoffs in overtime on goals that closed out the series. To be able to get one and start to feel like you're in a better spot and you had the chances and you created the mistake and got it. As far as how the mistake happens, I don't know that that's necessarily something that the Golden Knights were trying to generate there. I'm not even entirely sure why Barbashev's not continuing through on that play, where it looked to me like he kind of pulled out and then the puck goes off his skate and it ends up right on Amadio's stick. Hell of a job by Amadio to bury that, but that's not how I would have expected them to generate some of these extra opportunities on the forecheck. Nonetheless, it happened. So that is certainly good. I was in the press box. I don't know who asked that, and I will be there once again on Monday. 8:30 start. Holy crap! So we're still over 48 hours from the next game, which is pretty wild. So the thing about them coming back and putting the extra mileage on their players, like, I get what he's saying. I understand some of that, but what I don't fully comprehend here is, like, I think that was an opportunity going into that third period that if the Golden Knights could have just snuffed them out, and even if they had gotten that one goal semi off the rush, the Niederreiter goal, if you could just lock it down from there, which basically would happen for the next, 13, 14 minutes, you're in really good shape to not only have taken this series back over on the scoreboard, both of the games. If say it had ended 4-2, maybe they pink an empty netter in there and it's 5-2. You can walk out of there after game 3 saying, all right, well, it's basically been 4 periods in a row of like close score hockey where we've been the better team. And so then to come out in that third period and have this belief of we're going to save this game by playing this style, even though the chances generated didn't really come off of breakdowns from the Golden Knights style. Like, we talk about going into like a defensive shell or playing a little bit more conservative, or like people like to do like prevent defense in football. I think it's worked for the Golden Knights, and I thought it actually did kind of work in many ways in this. If the Kessel penalty doesn't happen, I think that game ends 4-2. Maybe you can say they get that goal that makes it 4-3, but I'm not even sure they do, because I don't think they would have had the like mental capacity, the energy to go out and get that third one, which would have made them down 1, especially with 30 seconds left in the game. When you're down 1, you push more. You're more involved in trying to make that happen. You're more on top of it. And so that's where I did feel like, even though this is a game where the Golden Knights get the win, they do control the series again, they do now have home ice advantage back, things can look a lot differently if that period ends up energizing the Jets a little bit. If they feel like, all right, well, we did do some really good things to get ourselves back in the game. We are not out of this game. We weren't out of that game. We are not out of this series, even though we did not have Morrissey. We did it all without him. And we're actually going to get another player back into the lineup, in whether it's Capobianco or Stanley. I think it's Capobianco. I'm blanking. I'm pretty sure that's right. Yeah, it is. And then probably Ehlers comes back. They have 45 hours or 48 hours from right now till the next game. He seemed to have been close again today. I would imagine he will indeed come back now that they are officially in dire straits. If they lose the next game, the series is probably over for them. Come back to Vegas and they're going to have to win 3 straight. I don't like their chances of doing that. I don't think the Golden Knights are going to do that, blow that, if we end up in that position. So for me, giving them that piece of like belief back, and where you had it at 4-1, when that goal goes in at 4-1, it's basically completely in Vegas's hands now. Not only this game, but the series at large. It's like in Vegas's hands. So that's where I'm a little bit not sure I agree that like it's the extra minutes that are going to benefit the Golden Knights, because the Golden Knights also had a bunch of extra minutes, and over the course of the entirety of the playoffs, those extra minutes might end up being challenging on the Golden Knights because they have broken down over the course of time. When they've gotten some time to get healthy and get right, they've been very good. Here we are, 2-1. I guess that's good for where we are at this moment. And now hopefully that can continue like it has a couple of times in the regular season. But the extra minutes, the extra stress, the extra hits, all of that, especially some of the guys that are already banged up out there, which Eichel came in on the injury. Stone obviously had the back. McNabb had the injury at the end of game 3. There's still the injury to Theodore that kept him out for a little bit of time. Whitecloud's coming back off the knee injury. Like, there's probably still some banged up guys that we're going to have to hope that they can continue pushing through this and that it doesn't start to fall down, where those extra minutes can come back and grind you down a little bit. So overall, I think we're in a pretty good spot here, understanding that when at 5-on-5 for a good majority of now, what is it? Period 1, period 2 and period 2, I'm not that thrilled with, but it's also a 2-goal lead. And then when it gets to 1, or it was a 1-goal lead either way, definitely period 2 in game 2, definitely period 3 in game 2. I think a good portion of the overtime, certainly the second overtime, which is only 4 minutes, but you take advantage of a chance exactly like you wanted to. All of it ends up looking really good. And the Golden Knights are in a really good spot. I'll end this talking about the impact that Morrissey has and where they're going to notice that hole most. But first, I want to tell you that all of my road travel, the reason I'm in the Marlborough Hotel in downtown Winnipeg right now, is brought to you by Vegas Night and Day Heating and Cooling, a fantastic local company that can come out to your house for just $50 and check your 2 systems, your heating system, your cooling system, and make sure that it's good. Because nobody wants their air conditioner to go out in the middle of summer when it's 110 and you can't get somebody to come to your house to fix it for a couple days, or you got to order a new one or whatever. Don't do that. Don't be that guy or gal. Don't be that family. Don't subject your kids to that if you have kids. Get it fixed. Get it checked out now. Go to vkdac.com, Vegas Night and Day Heating and Cooling. Go there, vkdac.com. Tell them you want the pre-summer maintenance special from SinBin's Travel, and they'll hook you up. So does the Marlboro hand out Cowboy Killers on site? It's a different spelling. There's a GH in there. This place was built like sometime in the 20s, and I'm not talking about this 20s. I'm talking about the previous 20s, and it looks every bit of it. There's a dumbwaiter that's right next to the elevator to send things up. They don't seem to use it. The elevator looks like it hasn't been touched for 50 years at least. Like, there's absolutely nothing in the room. Like, you can see the one little picture behind me. It's getting dark, I guess. And the lamp, maybe I should have turned on the lamp. I don't know, sweet lamp. But even the lamp, like the wire runs down towards the side. What a fantastic place. However, it's literally right across the street, so I love it. I'm all about it. Shout out to the Marlborough Hotel, but more importantly, shout out to Vegas Night and Day Heating and Cooling for sending me here. And hopefully the Golden Knights win in 5, and we don't have to come back. Because now that I can officially say I don't want to come back, because then we have game 5, right? Or we've won in game 5, so that's good. I think that is it for this. I am going to move over to Twitter space, and we'll chat a little bit more over there. I want to give you guys an opportunity to ask questions and talk and do that. So if people do want to talk, we will go ahead and hop over onto Twitter spaces. Not sure how long that'll last. Anybody that wants to come and talk. I've said my piece. I'm going to go ahead and write in a little bit, and we'll publish that probably tomorrow morning. And maybe then maybe something on Monday as well. I got 2 ideas. We'll see what Jason's got cooking. But for now, we're going to head over to Twitter space and have you guys ask some questions. Thanks again to Condor CPAs for sponsoring every single playoff Periscope. And thanks to Elise for the super sticker. I appreciate that very much. Shout out to you for doing that. Golden Knights win. Golden Knights win. Overtime. Love an overtime win. Those are the ones you remember. Like, we blew a 3-goal lead. That sucks. Whatever. But the overtime winner, like Michael Amadio has a lifetime memory. You have a lifetime memory of Michael Amadio scoring. Remember them. Carlson's got one. Hall has got one. Stone's got one. Like, we remember those goals, and you are going to remember this one. It saved the Golden Knights. It's kind of a little bit of an escape. But, man, I fucking love overtime. And that was a wild overtime, back and forth, buildings rocking. What a great game. What a great situation. And now what a great setup for the Golden Knights. Back up in the series, back home ice advantage in good shape. All right. I'll see you on Twitter Spaces. We'll be over there in a second. I'm going to sit back, get it launched up, go sit in the bed behind myself here and make that happen. So here we go. Good night, everybody.